Hi everyone, I'm David Farmer and welcome to my channel, Effortless Being. Today's video is about something that is very common amongst spiritual seekers, and it's the difference between intellectual understanding and direct knowing. You know, if you're a spiritual seeker or you've been seeking for any length of time, you've probably been either consulting a teacher or you've been reading lots of books or watching YouTube videos. And very often when we do this and we're absorbing this information, we get to the point when we're like, I get it, I get it. There's just awareness, and there's only consciousness, and there's no separate self, and I get it, but and there's still doubts, and there's still suffering, and this kind of I understand, I get it, is really as much to say that you don't understand it and you don't get it at all. And that's not a criticism, it's just a fact. Because intellectual understanding is not direct experience. And it's the direct experience of your true nature that is the peace, the contentment that you seek. So to give a simple example, as I've said probably a few times in other videos, I used to live in Japan. And in Japan they have a very famous food which is called natto. And natto is, I should really say it's infamous really, because it is pretty disgusting, for me anyway. A lot of people like it. For me it was one of the most disgusting things I've ever had in my life. It's basically fermented soybeans, and so they'll just leave the soybeans to ferment, and they become this sort of slimy, gloopy, very smelly, sludgy bean. But it's supposed to be very good for you. A lot of people eat it in Japan, and especially women, it's very good for a woman's body. But I tried it once, and I absolutely hated it. So I know what natto tastes like, because I've had direct experience. You have just heard what natto is like. And you could explain that to somebody else, but you don't know for sure for yourself because you haven't had the direct experience. So that's the difference between intellectual knowing, hearsay, and actual felt knowing. So if we take your existence, imagine that you went to the doctor and the doctor says to you, all right, well, I've checked all your blood work, and I've checked your heart, and I've checked your brain, and I've checked your cognitive ability and your consciousness, and so I'm really happy to report that you officially exist. I mean, you would just laugh, right? Because you don't need any outer source to prove your own existence. Like, you exist, right? Like you're your own proof. You prove it yourself. So you already know your true nature. It's right here in plain sight. This knowing of your own existence. And you have no doubts about it. You don't need to ask someone else. It's like the self-inquiry question, who am I? There's no point asking somebody else. You're the own proof of your own existence. About that there is no doubt. It's the only thing that you know for sure. So just take a moment just now and just notice that you exist. And leave the mind alone. The mind cannot comprehend this. It doesn't have to. It's not the job of the mind. Mind, thoughts arise within the knowing of your own existence. Notice, I exist. Stay there. Aware, present, awake. So I hope that clears up the difference between the intellect and actual knowing. So if that resonated with you, please leave a comment below, or you can like, share and subscribe to the channel. That would be really helpful and I'd be really grateful for that. If anything came up for you that you would like to talk to me personally about, you can easily book a session on my website, effortlessbeing.org. So, see you next time.